Norway does not have ATMs that give out gold. It is not famous for selling homes on man-made islands. It does not come to mind when we think of Rolls-Royce, skyscrapers, or lavish people. All of those are associated with Middle Eastern countries because they have oil. A less-known fact, Norway has lots of oil too. Anywhere between 40 and 70% of their exports are oil and gas. But this was not always the case. Towards the end of the 1950s, Norway was like any other European country. They were not poor, but they did not produce oil. And then they found oil and gas, lots of it. By the 1970s, they were commercially extracting oil and gas. They began exporting it, and with that, the money started flowing in. The Norwegian government had structured their oil and gas exploration in a specific manner. Licenses were given to private companies to explore and dig. It was all done in a manner in which the government of Norway would earn profits. This allowed the Norwegian government to get a new source of income. Lots of income. This was a problem. Yes, a good problem. They knew that oil and gas would not last forever. Someday it would finish. They would not be able to earn money from oil forever. Norwegians did not want to blow away all their money in the present. They wanted to save it so that future generations of Norwegians would benefit from it. They set up a fund. This fund would invest the money, just like a mutual fund. Thus, in 1990, the government set up the Government Pension Fund. In 1996, money was first deposited into the fund. Investment Norway's oil earnings are invested by the Government Pension Fund. They invest in stocks, bonds, and real estate. Just like a mutual fund, it has a team that decides where the money will be invested. There is a team that audits the fund. There is a team that researches new investments and which holdings to sell off. And there is a person who heads this, like a fund manager. But there is one giant difference between a mutual fund and the Government Pension Fund. Anyone can invest in a mutual fund. The Government Pension Fund has only one investor, the Government of Norway. This fund is immensely successful. Today, it manages assets worth about $1.5 trillion, or $500 billion. This makes the Government Pension Fund the biggest fund of its kind in the world. To give you some context, India's biggest mutual fund company, SBI Mutual Fund, manages assets worth $86 billion only. About 70% of the Government Pension Fund's money is invested in shares of over 8,500 companies across 70-plus countries. About $22 billion of this fund's money is invested in India. Of the $1.5 trillion assets, only about half have come from direct contributions from oil profits. The rest is the return from investing. The fund is performing well. Last year, the fund made a gain of $213 billion.